Truth is, I don't think people understood what it was I was doing at Schaefer. I wasn't there to conduct. I was there to push people beyond what's expected of them. I believe that is an absolute necessity. There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job.
Whiplash is a movie that shocks many people, and their typical reaction is, wow, this movie can't be right, and this level of obsession is absolutely not healthy. But to others, this movie is fuel to them. They finish watching it and they go, hell yeah, let's grind. There are not many of them in this video, but I'm talking directly to them. If you think that you're one of them, please stay in this video. Because those of you on the other side, you have a fire inside of you. A fire that is waiting the right cue to be lit up and let it roar with all of its strength and power. This video is for you. This video is perfect for the obsessed ones. The movie starts with Andrew, a freshman in the best school music of the country, a deeply insecure guy with a profound desire to be a great drummer. He's recruited by Fletcher, the director of the school band. As an unconventional path as music is, his family, and especially his dad, is always behind him, trying to get him into a more secure path that has a better job exit. And they always tell Andrew that they have another career options. But Andrew is always like, what the fuck is a plan B? What other options? There's only one option. And the only option is to become one of the greats. Of course, that when you have many options like a career, a stable job, and a passion that you are kind of comfortable, so life doesn't seem to apply that much pressure into you to become one of the greats at your passion. And usually you're not taken to the absolute limit because you know that there are other options, and if this fails, you know you can have your stable job and career. And Andrew also wants to have a kind of normal life. He wants to fit in, to have a social life, to have a girlfriend. So he takes courage once and asks out this beautiful girl that works at the movies. Turns out that Nicole is also a misfit and doesn't fit in well with the locals. At this point of the movie, Andrew feels super accomplished. He's dating this beautiful girl and he's getting into the school band. In one of the first rehearsals, Fletcher gives Andrew, to my opinion, a beautiful piece of advice.
The key is to just relax. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about what the other guys are thinking. You're here for a reason.
An amazing performance occurs when you have a deep insecurity while practicing and absolute relaxation while performing. Obsession and flow grow in those times where you don't feel that time is passing you by, where you're completely immersed in your craft, in your pursuit, in your performance. That's where the fire starts to lit up. There's this quote by Zach Pogrom that I absolutely love. He's one of the great writers about obsession. This quote says, "Move fast with a calm mind. If you're too slow, you need pressure. If you're too fast, you need a wall. Eventually you reach a point where you can speed at 100 miles an hour, but it feels like slow motion." So Fletcher is constantly testing Andrew's obsession and taking him to the absolute limit. He abuses him psychologically with his family and the death of his mother. He brings incompetent people to compete with Andrew and make him try even harder. He throws things at him. He makes him work twice as hard for each and every single part. And people think that he's just abusing him and that he's just a sadist. But Andrew, deep down, he deeply understands him. And Fletcher doesn't know that Andrew lives and breathes for drumming. He listens to the greats, he's always kind of visualizing himself playing the drums, and he's just crazy. And he even dumps his beautiful girlfriend for drumming, leaving us with one of the greatest scenes in the movie.
This is why I don't think that we should be together. And I've thought about it a lot, and this is what's gonna happen, okay? I'm gonna keep pursuing what I'm pursuing. And because I'm doing that, it's gonna take up more and more of my time, and I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time with you. And even when I do spend time with you, I'm gonna be thinking about drumming. I'm gonna be thinking about jazz music and my charts and all that. And because of that, you're gonna start to resent me. And you're gonna tell me to ease up on the drumming, spend more time with you because you're not feeling important. And I'm not gonna be able to do that. And really, I'm just gonna start to resent you for even asking me to stop drumming. And we're just gonna start to hate each other. And it's gonna be ugly. And so for those reasons, I'd rather just, break it off clean. Because because I want to be one of the greats.
And even though Andrew's breakup skills aren't so good, he still brings up a very difficult point, that is to maintain or kind of balance your mission with other people, especially those who don't live it with the same intensity as you do. People may call you crazy, to slow down a little bit, to think that you have other things to pursue, but sometimes you just want one thing. But there's a moment of the story where Fletcher breaks Andrew. He's driving him absolutely insane and getting him to the point of almost dying to play the drums. Andrew drops out of school and starts to listen to his family and trying to think about other career pursuits. But the thing with obsession is that it's always there. It calls and calls and calls, waiting for you to attend that call. Because life seems incomplete when you are not doing the thing that you're supposed to do. So sometimes you can avoid the call from obsession, but the universe just makes it too evident that you need to answer the call. Andrew returns to drumming and re-encounters with Fletcher, who seems to have changed. And he drops one of the hardest quotes in Whiplash.
You know, maybe you go too far and you discourage the next Charlie Parker from ever becoming Charlie Parker.
No, man, no. Because the next Charlie Parker would never be discouraged.
The next Charlie Parker would never be discouraged. When the last show starts and the final scene is playing, Fletcher tries to screw Andrew by playing one song that he never knew about and that he didn't ever take the time to study. So he goes off stage and he's kind of rushing through his mind whether that's it and he should quit and all of that stuff. But he remembers that the next Charlie Parker would never be discouraged, and that if he was one of the greats, he would never be discouraged, and returns and makes one of the best performances ever. Because he has nothing to lose, because he already quit drumming once, and this was just kind of a make or break moment. He didn't have anything to lose, because worse than the time that he already had passed couldn't be. It couldn't be worse than that. And in the last scene, he gains respect from Fletcher and starts to build his path to being one of the greats. I find this movie super inspiring and I love Whiplash so much. And I find myself super identified with Andrew with this deep down insecurities of not being good enough and putting those hours in and trying to be perfect at his craft and also not feeling that you fit in quite a lot. Andrew makes a super relatable character despite his insane amounts of obsession that he has inside of him. And by having a very clear mission, you can almost bear anyhow. Sometimes we forget about this mission, we forget why we're here in the world, and sometimes we don't know. And if you don't know, you need to find out and try lots of crazy shit until you find something that surely lights up the fire inside of you. And sometimes obsession comes and goes, and there are phases of life where you don't feel like doing the thing that you're passionate about because you're so overconsumed by it that it doesn't feel natural to do it anymore. And that is an excellent time to remember why you're doing this, that your mission is important and that you came into the world to deliver something to it. You're not an accident, you are supposed to be here. You need to be here and you need to bring something to the world because that's your mission. If every one of us just poured their heart out into the world and gave it a mission and gave it something special for it to use, the world would be so much different. I love this movie because it represents exactly how many people feel. And sometimes obsession is something so beautiful but so painful, but it's something that you wouldn't leave for anything because even though it's painful, it's a burden and there are lots of things you have to do and get better at, you just don't want to live it. You want to stay there and get through it because you know that the fulfillment that comes after the storm is absolutely beautiful. So your obsession is that you're insanely drawn up to, and sometimes it's hard to find it, so you need to take a lot of action. But when you live by something and you let yourself be consumed by it, it's something beautiful. And the last question that comes to mind is, was this Fletcher's plan all along? See you next time.